The question that I'm asking today is this: does New Delhi have a new strategy for Jammu and Kashmir? It has been over 5 months since the Kashmir Valley has been under a security lockdown, which is slowly, very slowly getting lifted. Internet will soon be partially restored in Kashmir after an unprecedented 5-month blackout, but only for institutions providing quote-unquote essential services. However, social media sites will still be out of reach for the Kashmiris for the time being. This is easily the longest internet shutdown ever imposed in a democracy. Some of the steps easing restrictions in Kashmir are undertaken following a Supreme Court ruling last week. The court said that the indefinite suspension of internet was illegal and amounted to an abuse of power. Before we go any further, let's briefly take a look at the violence data in Kashmir. Ceasefire violations along the line of control have spiked since the August decision in Kashmir. Take a look at this table. Infiltration from across the border, despite the heavy security presence inside Kashmir and on the line of control, has also gone up. Take a look at this table. Terror incidents in the valley has marginally come down thanks to the heavy security presence there. Here is the data for you. However, the most important data, as far as I am concerned, is the local militant recruitment data. To my mind, that would tell us a lot about the mood in the valley today. Take a look at this table, which shows that the local militant recruitment went up from 2004 to 2017. But we do not have any data for the period after 2019. The government has not released it. The government of India recently organized a visit of some Delhi-based diplomats to Jammu and Kashmir to meet various sections of the society there. Diplomats belonging to the United States, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Norway, the Maldives, South Korea, Morocco, Nigeria, Argentina, the Philippines, among others, were taken on a guided tour of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. These diplomats were allowed to interact with some journalists, some political leaders, and some civil society activists. As was expected, they were not allowed to meet Kashmir's high-profile political detainees. Most people they met tended to argue that Kashmir is calm and not a single bullet has been fired since August, arguments routinely made by officials and politicians in New Delhi. The government of India also recently announced that some of its key ministers would be making a visit to Kashmir very soon. They would speak to the people about development initiatives that the center plans to undertake in the newly bifurcated union territories. This clearly is a much needed initiative. In fact, both the recent visit of the diplomats to Jammu and Kashmir and the upcoming visit of the ministers are part of an initiative by the government to signal that Kashmir is becoming normal again. But wait a minute. Why is that only hand-picked diplomats are taken to meet only those that the government decides in Jammu and Kashmir? More so, while foreign delegates are allowed to visit Jammu and Kashmir, why is that the Indian politicians are not allowed to visit their own country if indeed the objective of the government is to reach out to the people of Kashmir? Why not organize an all-party delegation visit to Kashmir as it happened in 2010 during the height of the agitations in the valley? These are at best half measures by the government to paint a shade of normalcy, even though we know that normalcy is nowhere in the picture in Kashmir. If normalcy is what is desired, normal politics must be allowed in Kashmir. Talking about half measures, let's take a look at the recent judgment of the Supreme Court. while the judgment was littered with all the right words, there was very little relief actually for the Kashmiris. The court asked for a review of the restrictive measures in Kashmir. But who will do the review? The government itself. It can very well review and decide to continue with the same measures. The court also spoke of the need to balance freedom of speech with the national security, which I believe is the wrong road to take. The judiciary must step in to safeguard individual liberty and freedom. Invoking national security to constrain individual liberty and freedom can be the beginning of the end of democratic freedoms as we know it. Having said that, are we today looking at the making of a new Kashmir strategy by the Indian government? Let's review what looks like some of the baby steps in the making of a new Kashmir policy. First of all, there seems to be a slow process of lifting of restrictions in Kashmir. This is a gradual process clearly and will take some time to materialize. The court order and the pressure from within and outside India could potentially quicken this process in the days ahead. The second strategy is to wean away senior politicians from Jammu and Kashmir's traditional political parties such as the National Conference and the People's Democratic Party and create a new political formation in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. This will enable a new style of politics in Kashmir with a new bunch of leaders, new demands and new bargains. The fact that many of the jailed leaders are not the favorites of Kashmiris will ensure that there won't be much resistance against the creation of such a new political formation in the valley. The third strategy would be to get the Kashmiri leadership, the new Kashmiri leadership, to restrict their bargain with New Delhi to the question of returning Jammu and Kashmir's statehood and only that. This would be a popular demand in the days to come. Once the conversation is restricted around this particular issue of returning statehood, other issues would be sidelined, at least for the time being. This is, however, going to be easier said than done. The Kashmiri youth, deeply disgruntled as it is unlikely to be enamored by these strategies of the government of India. The question is whether New Delhi will dictate the politics of Kashmir in the days ahead, or Kashmir's angry youngsters will do so. More so, what might happen when the restrictions are finally lifted is anyone's guess. All these calculations about carefully calibrating and managing the political space in Kashmir may get washed away by the fury of a political uprising. Thirdly, what Pakistan would do vis-à-vis Kashmir in the months ahead is something we will have to wait and watch. Once the FATF pressure eases and the snow in Kashmir melts, Pakistan might up the ante in Kashmir once again militarily. This seems to be the mood in Rawalpindi, I believe. If that happens, we must, and Kashmir must, prepare for a hot and violent summer. Thank you for watching.
To receive instant updates on all videos from The Wire, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Pay to support independent journalism. Click the link in the description and choose the amount you want to pay.